Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to the wonderful world of vision. I am Ainhoa de Federico, and today we have a marvelous guest, Irena Castle, from Overbound Athletics. Yay, a dear colleague and friend. The two of us have been hanging out in the community of natural vision teachers for a while, and we're a part of this anthology that we're writing with plenty of other authors as well, and habitual participants and talkers in summits and conferences on natural vision improvement. And today, Irena is going to talk to us about how to increase the efficiency of your eyesight practice. Irena, you may want to introduce yourself also a little bit more. I think that's part of what you've prepared for us.
For sure. Well, thank you very much for having me back, Ainhoa, and letting me kind of introduce this topic to your current students and past students, perhaps. Yes, we can go ahead and start by me just kind of telling you a little bit about who I am. For those who have not had a chance to see me before or hear me before. So like Ainhoa said, I am an eyesight coach. I have founded a company that is called Overbound, and I started it to develop tools and methods that would develop peripheral vision for my own children. Right? When my boys were playing soccer, when they were very, very small, like many other kids, they just tended to focus really heavily on the ball, and they were forgetting the rest of the playing field. And so it all started with me trying to give them some help with how to get their peripheral vision a little bit more active during that game. And then it took a course of its own as I encountered natural vision improvement and many other methods related to this field. And I actually ended up developing a tool that is not only for peripheral vision, but that has a very wide range of benefits to natural vision improvement practice, as well as sports vision development. Like I indicated, I am a mom. I've got two sons, a husband and a dog, and I am a big fan of soccer through my boys. And, I do skiing, I like running, I like playing in dirt in my backyard and landscaping. So lots of little things, but I am a very outdoorsy person, and it kind of natural vision improvement kind of fits into that because practicing outdoors is always beneficial for us all. All right, so that's a little bit about me. And I think it would be wise to just go ahead and move directly to what I have prepared for you today. And before we get there, I want to start by saying that after the presentation, there is absolutely going to be plenty of time for any questions you may have about the topics that we will discuss. All right, so today I came here to talk to you about how to improve the effectiveness and the efficiency of your natural vision improvement, right? There are ultimately, as you go through all the learning in Dr. Ainhoa's course, as you encounter the new habits, the new techniques, the first experience with seeing in a way you have not seen before, there's a pretty good chance you're going to run into what we call the inhibitors of your vision problem. And there are ultimately three that I want to cover today. The first one is tunnel-like vision. Tunnel-like vision doesn't necessarily mean that you do actually have tunnel vision, but it does mean that your field of view is limited. That means that you're using a lot of your central vision and not enough of your peripheral vision. Then there is distraction. Distraction caused by different elements within the environment as you try to teach your eyes a new skill, but also distraction provided by the actual visual system itself. right? And then the last thing is the lack of having the proper tools for your practice, right? So let's move forward and I will cover each of them in a little bit more detail. Let's start with the tunnel-like vision. So as you already know, our vision, when we take it really simply, has two basic parts. The first part is your central vision, and the other part is your peripheral vision. Peripheral vision is actually much larger from the angle perspective than central vision. In central vision, depending on how you look at it, you really can think about it as looking at a very, very, very tiny point and seeing that point as the only thing that is absolutely clear, right? That is using your fovea centralis, and that is using the cones within your visual system, within the retina of your eyes, right? The central view can therefore vary from a little pin-like size, but we probably look at it more within the scope of, let's say, 5, 10, 15 degrees of an angle, even though as soon as you start moving away from the very point you're looking at, the clarity of your view is diminished. So what do we use center view for? For reading, for writing, for looking for objects, for sorting things, for recognizing people's faces, right? All of those different things are what center vision is for. And ultimately, when we look at it from a broader scope of things, it provides focus, it provides detail, the ability to see details. And because it is leveraging the visual receptors that are called the cones, therefore, it is dependent on light, right? So it provides seeing in the light. The second part of the view, of the field of view, that can go all the way up to about 220 degrees for people who have very well developed peripheral vision. And it can actually almost expand to what I sometimes call the sensorial periphery, which is the part that you don't really physically see, but you can still sense and you can still, in quotes, see inside your brain, right? So that part is the majority of your field of view. And it serves us for seeing context, right? Clarity is only able to appear to you if you see in a broader context of things. It provides clarity in the distance, right? Again, if you're trying to extend your field of view and your field of clarity, you always need to be aware of what is around you so that the whole picture could be formed in the brain. It's great for spatial orientation in general. It's excellent for balance. It's obviously very useful for driving, right? Changing lanes when you can't really register a car on the left or on the right of your own vehicle can be pretty difficult and pretty dangerous. And so that leads to overall safety when you walk, when you ride your bicycle, when you do any other activity. Noticing that objects and people are coming to you, and understanding how far they are and what their speed is, all of that can be provided by peripheral vision. Peripheral vision overall is provided by visual rods, right? The photoreceptors that can see movement and that provide us seeing in the darkness, okay? So that is the first inhibitor. What I'm seeing usually is that many people not only have limited peripheral vision, but they focus all of their natural vision improvement training on the development of the center view, which is ultimately the goal. Everybody wants to see clearly. But again, it cannot be truly achieved without the whole eye being engaged, without the engagement of the periphery and the development of periphery, right? Okay, excellent. So let's go to the next one. I talked about the second inhibitor, and the second inhibitor is distraction. So let's look at it this way. We've got two eyes for a reason, right? And the two eyes are not actually one and the same. Yes, to provide us the great seeing that we are after, to provide us binocular vision, 3D vision, great fusion, great clarity, they have to work together, and they have to work together really well, right? But that still doesn't mean that they are the same. And because they are not the same, they are ultimately their own entity, they can learn differently. They need different things. They have different desires. They have different personality. They can also throw a tantrum if you don't let them work within their own kind of personality and scope of being, right? So it is really important that we think about our eyes as two different either persons or personalities or entities, and we treat them this way, right? Imagine if we have two people who each like to learn differently. One likes to read, right? And one likes to listen to the instructions. Well, if the one that likes to read the instruction, one that is very visual, receives only the auditory instructions, he or she is probably not going to learn very well. Yes, they may learn the information, but it's going to take them longer. It's going to be more difficult for them, and vice versa, right? And so it is really important as we look at natural vision improvement and as we teach our eyes new skills to provide them the ability to learn the way they like to learn, and without any interruption, right? The interruption can always come from either the exterior, but in case of natural vision improvement, it can also come from the other eye. And we don't want that. You know that when you're trying to do any type of work, if you're constantly being interrupted, if somebody else constantly tells you that you're not doing it right and that you should try it this way instead, and they try to chime in every other minute, you probably won't get very far, right? And it is the same with your vision, all right? So the solution to these two problems is what we call the selective vision obstruction. It is an approach that mitigates the underuse of the peripheral part of the eye, and it is also an approach that mitigates the competition between the two eyes. And by doing so, obviously it improves peripheral vision, but it also improves acuity. It improves 3D vision, and it allows many other natural vision skills to be learned more effectively, more efficiently, faster, easier, with more joy. And that is exactly what we are after over here. So let me tell you what selective vision obstruction actually is. So selective vision obstruction is a technique that we use to intentionally limit the vision field of one or both of the eyes, sometimes part of the eyes, so that the visual stimuli that eye or both eyes are receiving is limited only to the area that is unobstructed, right? That is something that is being used by most natural vision improvement methods. It is something that is being used in vision therapy and other related fields. Now, why would we do this? Why would we try to partially block somebody's vision? Well, when we do that, what happens is that the development of the desired vision skill is much easier. There is no distraction of other stimuli, and therefore the part of the eye or the eye that is practicing can develop a better and easier and stronger connection with the visual cortex in the brain. And ultimately, you know, the natural vision improvement is all about the development of a new and better connection between the eyes, between all that is inside the eyeball, all those different elements and neurons and everything that it has to provide, and the brain that ultimately interprets all the signals, right? So with selective vision obstruction, we can decide what part of the eye is going to be practiced. We can decide which eye is going to be practiced. And we eliminate all this extra distraction and noise so that the eye can, in quotes, focus, right? It can concentrate on the technique and on the skill that is being developed, technique that is being practiced and skill that is being developed. Make sense? Okay, so what types of selective vision obstruction do we have? All right. And I'm skipping ahead, but that's okay. So let me pause over here and just talk to you about the fact that ultimately selective vision obstruction, like I indicated, it truly helps with many different visual challenges, right? And so it works for nearsightedness. It works for farsightedness, for presbyopia, right? Old age eyesight, astigmatism, lazy eye, squint, double vision. Why is that? Because it is almost, we could call it an overarching technique, right? You are learning during your natural vision improvement journey, inside your course, you're learning all sorts of different things that you can do to teach your eye to act differently and teach your brain to cooperate with the eye and interpret the signals you want to get them, right? Selective vision obstruction ultimately just makes it easier and therefore more effective and more efficient. All right. So that is why this kind of overarching technique that can be used and is being used across all of the practice of natural vision improvement, that is why it has the ability to influence the development or improvement of all of these different conditions that I just mentioned. Okay. Very good. All right. So I started talking about the types of selective vision obstruction. So let's get back to that. There are ultimately two types of selective vision obstruction. The first one is single eye and the other one is dual eye. Pretty easy, right? All right. So what is in detail single eye obstruction? It ultimately means that we cover one of the eyes. We select one of them and we let the other eye unobstructed. And when we do that, the eye that is being covered stops influencing the learning of the eye that is being taught, right? So again, it eliminates the noise and it eliminates the personality of that eye that is, let's say, auditory, and lets the eye that is in, let's say, visual to learn in its own pace, in its own way, and figure out the connection with the brain on its own. Now, you probably know that it's not always the easiest thing to do, right? And so this particular approach makes it easier. It's almost like a one-on-one type of conversation versus being in a group class. When we have both eyes present, we're in a group class. When we have one eye present, we are on one-on-one type of conversation with our coach, and in this case, with the brain, right? Now, what we do like to do is even when we cover one of the eyes, we really like to keep the peripheral vision open because we can work on acuity and we can still stay aware of our surroundings, which is actually really helpful because in real life, there is always some of the noise around, and we like to have the ability to stay kind of grounded and to understand where we are in the space. Because like I said, that type of understanding and awareness makes clarity appear easier and faster, all right? Now, when do we use single eye obstruction? So there are many different occasions, but let's just mention a few. So for example, when we have a lazy eye, right? We give the eye that kind of lacks activity the ability to step forward and do some work for our seeing. The other time when we do that is when two eyes have different acuity, right? My left eye has one set of diopters, my right eye has another set of diopters, and they don't see the same, or rather in the same distance. They don't see clearly from the same distance. And so it is very beneficial to work with them separately so that, again, the eye that needs perhaps a little bit more help can get that help without the other eye kind of driving the whole process of seeing. And then, of course, it is very helpful with learning any sort of visual skills. Why is that? Well, sometimes it is easier for one eye to absorb the learning and then the other eye absorb the learning before they learn it or combine it together, right? So if you are in a situation when a technique becomes difficult, then it may be much easier if you work on each eye separate first and then put them together. It's just like with a pianist, right? When a pianist is learning a new piece of music, they first learn it with one hand and the other hand, right? Each part separate, and only then do they put it all together for us to hear the harmony and hear the piece the way it is actually supposed to look like or sound like. Very good. All right, so single eye obstruction is achieved, obviously, with some sort of coverage of one eye. At Overbound, we use monoshields that you can see over here on the screen. And like I said, you can use them with all sorts of different techniques, with swings, with sways, with sunning. You use them for target aims to help you with binocular vision, with 3D vision development. You can use them for tromboning, for shifting, all sorts of things. Also, if you have one eye that is significantly lacking in activity, you can also use the monoshields during the day for a little bit extended period of time so that you would let that eye kind of work on its own for a little bit and let the other eye rest. So that was single eye obstruction. Now let's move forward to the other one, and that is double eye obstruction. And double eye obstruction obviously means that we're covering both eyes, and therefore we are eliminating the central view. And it can be eliminated entirely, right? We start by eliminating the central view, and then we can also start eliminating certain parts of the peripheral view. So we can eliminate perhaps the near periphery, which is within the angle of 30 degrees from your nose, or we can even eliminate the mid periphery up to 60 degrees and only leave the far periphery open. Even those shields, even the shields that are meant to develop our periphery, they never cover all of your vision, right? And they leave at least the far periphery open for your practice. It is always beneficial to work with double eye obstruction in some sort of a gradual mode. So you start with very narrow obstructions, and once your visual system gets used to it, you kind of start extending the amount of vision field that is being covered. So what is this good for? So obviously, this is great for peripheral vision development. We started talking about this because of the tunnel-like vision, right? And so double eye obstruction covers your central view, and therefore the visual rods and the outer sides of your eyes, as well as the upper and lower periphery, have to start working, have to become much more active in order to provide enough visual signal for you so that you know where you are, what you're doing. And by practicing this way, you ultimately start expanding your vision field in all sorts of directions, left, right, up, down, everywhere, okay? It's also excellent for seeing movement. For students who have difficulties with seeing movement, whether it is through the practice of the swing, whether it's with the practice of the sway, using dual eye obstruction makes it easy for the eyes and therefore for the brain to realize that as you move, as you practice, right? So let's say I'm doing a swing, certain things are coming in and out of my peripheral field of view, right? So it's an excellent practice for that. And then, of course, for eye-body coordination, there is a benefit in covering the center view to really kind of develop your ability to engage the both eyes in a very specific manner, as long as your complete periphery is open. Okay, so what gives us dual eye obstruction? So obviously you need shields, and when you practice peripheral vision, you want wider shields so that you would engage the corners of the eyes and everything that is outside of your central view. Like I said, it is always beneficial to start with more narrow shields, and then you kind of increase as they go. You can also use dual eye obstruction for the development of eye coordination through practices like juggling with a ball. In that case, you would be using very narrow dual eye obstruction that doesn't cover much of your vision field, and so that you are still able to kind of see your right arm, left arm, and as you throw the ball, under or over, you can always kind of engage both of them. But given that the center view is covered, they both have to work, because if only one of them works and the other one is kind of slacking, you will never be able to catch the ball, right? So it teaches the engagement of the eyes, and it teaches them to work together in tandem so that you could achieve the task at hand. Excellent. Very good. So, of course, when we do anything in life, we like to have the right tool. And I started with having the right tools being the third inhibitor of your success in a natural vision improvement. Why is that? Well, here's the thing. If you go to run a 100-meter dash, you're probably not going to run it in flip-flops, right? If you go and cut a tree in your backyard, you probably won't take a kitchen knife to do it, right? But as we enter the world of natural vision improvement, we're often asked to prepare and develop tools without truly understanding exactly what we're doing, right? And so it is critical that for natural vision improvement practice, we also have the right tools. And there is a right tool for selective vision obstruction, and that tool is the Clarity Eyesight Trainer. Now, I developed the Clarity Eyesight Trainer bearing in mind all of the principles of natural vision improvement, right? So making sure that this tool is not something that you just can grab off on a kitchen counter at home, or it's not a tool that is suboptimal because you're doing it by yourself without understanding all of the principles. Instead, I spent over 2 years making sure that this tool is what helps natural vision improvement go faster, be more effective, and also to ensure that people actually practice. Because what happens when you don't have the right tools? If you don't have the right tools, you get frustrated, you don't see the results, and ultimately you quit, right? And I see a lot of people doing that. They have learned so many great things about natural vision improvement, and then they don't see the results because they don't practice. Why do they not practice? Because they've never made the tools, or they find it difficult to keep track of them, or the tools are not good enough to do what they need to do. Okay, so that is why I developed the Clarity Eyesight Trainer. So let's have a look at this tool and what it can do for you as you practice natural vision improvement. Okay, so over here in the video, you can kind of see a detail of the product, and I am showing it also live just so that you would get an idea of what it is. It ultimately looks like a pair of stylish sports glasses with a lot of different functionality that I will point out. Okay, first of all, it consists of a frame, right, that have all sorts of different grips, and that when you wear it, it doesn't fall off your face, right? So that's the core of it. Then it consists, or it contains 5 different selective vision obstruction shields. So you can see this over here. Like I said, you need different shields for the development of different visual skills. So the Clarity Eyesight Trainer has 5 different shields. There are 3 shields. You can see it on this picture, and then we will show it live as well. You have 3 shields for dual eye obstruction, and then 2 shields, one for covering the left eye and one for covering the right eye. And ultimately, the way they work together is that they fit, they're all fitting into this same frame. So you only have one frame, and depending on what you need to practice, there we go, there we go, right? You just switch the shields and you start your practice of the technique that you're working on. All right. Now, I said that I developed this trainer respecting the important kind of elements of natural vision improvement, the important rules. So what are they? What are the different attributes of this Clarity Eyesight Trainer? First of all, a completely unobstructed periphery. Right? I could not stress that enough. I started with talking about why peripheral vision is important, why it is important that you don't just leave it behind and focus only on your central view practice, right? And this particular tool was developed so that all of the periphery is open. You can see it in the pictures, but I will also put the trainer on, right, and show it to you. So you can see that when I turn sideways, I still have a great awareness of my computer, of the screen, and of this webinar, as well as awareness of a pretty wide field of view overall. This is shield 2, so this is one of the more narrow peripheral shields. I can also see everything over here, right? You can see that the shape of these shields is such that they actually are curved away from the face, and therefore the peripheral view at below your nose, below your chin, the lower periphery is open and active. So as I am practicing my skills, I am able to stay aware of where I am. I'm not going to trip. I'm not going to lose my feet because I am still staying aware of what's going on below my chin, all the way to my waist and further down, right? And same thing, you can see that I can still be aware of what's above me. That's sometimes a little bit less important, but it is something that you want to have available when you're practicing your skills for binocular vision, for 3D vision, etc. Okay, so a really, really important attribute. The next thing that is great about this particular tool is that it provides consistency. Okay, consistency is always critical when you're learning something new. You are teaching a visual system something that it has not encountered before. And you want to limit the number of changing factors to a minimum. So if day after day you're using different type of eyesight covering, right? Different Post-its, different size papers that you tape on your face, if that is what you do for selective vision obstruction, right? It's not a wrong thing by any means, but what you're introducing to your learning is another factor of change, right? And another factor of change is a distraction, and it makes it harder for the eye to react when every time it engages in a technique in practice, the environment at which it practices is different, okay? The other great thing is that it provides the ability to slowly increase the difficulty of your practice. So, for example, for peripheral vision, when you first start, you would be using this Shield 1, right? And just notice how much of my view is actually covered, right? Like I can't see you in the front, but I can see everything else around me. Now, as you progress, as you get accustomed to it, you would use Shield number 2, which covers more of this near periphery and allows me to practice and develop my mid periphery and far periphery. And when you become a pro and your vision field is very wide, you start working with Shield 3. And you can see that Shield 3 ultimately covers my vision past my temples or all the way to my temples, so that I really have to engage this part of my vision field in order to stay connected with my surroundings, right? So that is one of the benefits of the Clarity Eyesight Trainer. Obviously, you guys saw how quickly I can switch the shield. So you don't have to have a different frame, different kind of shield, different type of tools for selective vision obstruction. No different papers, no tapes to put on your face, nothing like that, because all you have to do is just simply change really quickly the shield that you want to use, and it goes together with a simple click. Right? They're connected through tiny, tiny little magnets that hold this whole system together and provide this effectiveness of your practice, right? All right, so let's move forward. What else is in there? I already mentioned these kind of non-slip silicone arm grips. Why is that great? Well, if you start practicing and if you start doing anything other than just sitting at your desk and, perhaps like not really moving your head all that much, it's possible that any sunglasses type of tools that you would make at home, they will start to move. And again, as soon as they move, it changes the criteria, the environment that the eye is working from. So when we have this tool and the silicone arm grips, they make sure that they don't fall. So I can do anything with my head. I can actually jump on a trampoline and the tool is going to stay on my head. I can go for a walk. I can go for a run with a monoshield, right? I can do many things. Additionally, if there is a person who perhaps either is a child, right, or a person with a very small or narrow head, we also have a little strap that can be easily attached to the main frame. And when it gets attached, it just clicks into those little holes in the arms. When it gets attached, it holds your frame further. So if a child works with it, and I would say especially a small child, the frame ultimately fits almost anyone from the age of 8, 9, 10 to adulthood. So if a small child works with it, there is a band that helps to hold the frame in. Okay. Very good. And then, of course, when you start working working on natural vision improvement and creating all sorts of tools for yourself and, gathering the materials and spending the time and spending the money, they end up being everywhere. With the Clarity Eyesight Trainer, you will receive a case. The case looks like this, and you can also see it in the picture, right? Very sturdy case, and the whole system is housed inside. So there is a space for, I'm just putting it back so that I can show it to you really quickly. For each of the shields and the frame, right? And when it's all put together, it looks just like this. Okay, so all you have to do when you are done with your practice or when you travel and you want to take your tools is to zip it up and off you go, right? So no need to be looking for all those different elements. It also has a pocket. You can see that in the image. I will open it back up. There's a little pocket over here, but you can store any additional like little charts or anything else that you want to have for your natural vision improvement. Excellent. So in addition to the tool itself and all of these very precise ways of covering your vision, very precise ways to provide selective vision obstruction for your practice, the tool also comes with a free class. And the class is not an A to Z course. It is a class that teaches you how to leverage selective vision obstruction during the course you're taking or during your natural vision improvement practice after you have already taken a course, right? It highlights the way you can benefit from selective vision obstruction as you practice the techniques that you have learned previously. There are also some additional techniques in this course that are coming from my practice of working with athletes, right? So those might be a little bit different. They leverage the outdoors and they just provide a little bit different alternative to the traditional natural vision improvement teaching. But ultimately, this course kind of gives you the opportunity to get really accustomed with using this tool and with leveraging it in your current natural improvement routine, and therefore making it more effective, making it easier. It kind of eliminates this this aspect of procrastination that's coming from the perspective of not having the right things ready and things becoming lost and overall, just difficult to gather and use. All right. Now, this 6 months free access would come to everyone who purchases the Clarity Eyesight Trainer. When you do that, you ultimately get a little welcome card in the set, and inside the welcome card is a little card that we call the Academy card that has a little code in the back, and you use that code to grant you access to the program that comes with the Clarity Eyesight Trainer. Okay. And so that's ultimately the bundle. We have started selling this product. We, after having worked on it for literally more than 2 years, we put it in the market and offered it to the first students last year in March. And since then, it has helped hundreds and hundreds of students in 28 countries all around the world. Right. And we're hearing great things about it. You can read a couple of these testimonials over here in the chart. But ultimately, the way people use them is to take what they know and put it on overdrive right? It's instead of having a traditional development of your vision, you kind of speed it up a little bit. So think about it as an kind of exponential boost to the practice that you are already doing, and to the, I hate to say effort, because we never try to present effort in seeing, but your discipline of going out there on a daily basis and doing the exercises that, or techniques, practicing the techniques that you need to practice. So let me just summarize this for you, right? So Overbound Clarity Eyesight Trainer, the only system for selective vision obstruction that was developed for this specific purpose, for natural vision improvement. It has a frame, it has 5 shields for all sorts of natural vision improvement techniques. It has a band to help you hold the frame in place if you're doing a lots of jumping or other outdoor activities, or if it is a child who is working with the tool. It is packaged in a very sturdy case so that nothing can ever happen to it. And it comes with 6 months of a program that you have access to, obviously, and that teaches you very simply how to use the tool and how to use it to benefit your practice, right? That particular program, since we're at it and before we move on, is provided in a way that can be very easily translated into ultimately any language in the world. So if English is not your first language, if you prefer to learn in other languages, there is a way to translate that program. It is more of a written program and program that provides short videos without words, right? GIFs, images, and short videos without words, and therefore it can be easily automatically translated into other languages. So I just want to mention that in case that is important to you. Very good. Now, of course, today I am here presenting in Dr. Ainhoa's class, and anytime I come, I think about what would be a great gift for you guys. And this time around, I came up with a Brock string. And I know that those who are currently taking Dr. Ainhoa's class, they may or may not have been as far as learning with the Brock string. But a Brock string is a tool that is used for converging and diverging, for the development of eye coordination, for eye activation, for the development of distant vision, right? For the expansion of the field of clarity. And that is one that you would be, under normal circumstances, asked to make for yourself with strings and beads and perhaps other tools. And so I decided to give you one as a gift. And it's a 10-foot Brock string. And what's interesting about it is that it doesn't just have regular beads, but the beads that are attached to the string, they have little springs inside. And so as you work with it and as you place your beads on the string for into the distance at which you want to practice, they're not going to slide unless you actually move them. Okay, so again, a tool that was developed specifically for people who are just working with this and who want to make their natural vision improvement practice a little bit more easy and more efficient. All right, so that is your gift. The gift is available for those who decide to purchase the Clarity Eyesight Trainer between now and the end of the day on Sunday. So Sunday at midnight, wherever you are in the world, it's going to be available to you. Now, to get access to this offer, you would go, and I'm sure that Dr. Ainhoa is going to place some links in the chat, but ultimately you can go to a address that is bit.ly/clarity-ainhoa. You can see it in the top right corner of the presentation, right? or click any of the links that will be attached to this presentation, right? And you will be, and you will be able to get access to the glasses, and when you order them, they actually come together with a gift. Now, on the previous page, as I was talking, you saw the overbound training ball, right? Why do we have training balls in natural vision improvement? Well, training balls allow for the training of, or for the creation of movement in some very specific ways. They also help us train many different habits, such as the habit that prevents astigmatism, which is when the head follows the eyes. So for that, we use balls. And the balls that we use here at Overbound, they have multiple different benefits versus other balls that you can use. First of all, they attract the eyes, right? They are very colorful and they have different contrasting colors, white and the kind of orange red. They also have writing on it. We're using the logo, the Overbound logo, for the development of acuity as we trombone or as we throw and pick up the balls with intention, right? The balls are really nice to touch. So unlike, let's say, tennis balls, right, that are very hard, these are kind of soft. They are made of man-made leather and they are filled with natural millet, so no extra plastic anywhere. But that makes them being kind of squishy and really, really nice to touch. And what that also makes them is not bouncy. These balls specifically, they are slightly underfilled versus other juggling balls that are much harder, right? These are underfilled because in natural vision improvement, we use them very often without the full use of our vision. We use them for the vision development, right? And so you can see, let me make sure that when the ball gets to my hand, it doesn't really bounce anywhere. If I was using a different type of ball, it would just bounce off, right? Any other ball. So that's why we developed these. And these balls come in sets of 3. They are packaged in this little pouch, right? Just like that, that you use when you put them away, right? And these balls are also available for you to have if that is something that would be beneficial to you. We use them for peripheral vision development. We use them for 3D vision development and for eye coordination development and many other skills. All right. So I will go back to that page where I rested for just one tiny little moment. And I will summarize the offer for you guys for this particular class that is valid through the end of day on Sunday, June 4th, okay? And the offer is the Clarity Eyesight Trainer, and either alone with the Brock string, right? So Clarity Eyesight Trainer and the Brock string. Or if you decide that you would like to have the balls, you can get the Clarity Bundle, which is the Eyesight Trainer and the balls. And of course, the Brock string comes with it. All right. So that is my offer to you. You can see the link, bit.ly/Clarity Ainhoa. And again, I'm sure that, that there is a link already listed in the comments. I'm not looking at them right now, so that you can just click on it if that is what you desire. So that is it. That is it from me from presentation perspective. And there is going to be one more call out, but I just want to say before I go to that, like I started, when you get yourself on a journey of learning a new thing, right? Whether you learn a language, you learn a piano, you learn to run, you learn natural vision improvement, you want to set yourself up for success. And to do that, you learn the right techniques, right? You eliminate the stuff that can slow you down, and you use the right tools. So if you're serious about your vision, and if you're interested, go ahead, look into this, look into the Clarity Eyesight Trainer, because it will help you eliminate your tunnel vision so that you can actually develop the clarity of seeing that you're looking for. It will eliminate the distractions so that your eyes can learn faster on their own. And it will provide you the right tool to do all of this with ease and in some sort of organized manner. All right. So one thing that I do need to mention is because I know that we have customers and students from all around the world. For the time being, we are shipping the product from the US. And so if you do live outside of the US, I just want to call out that you will have to follow your package, and you will have to take it through customs and be responsible for the import duty and potentially other fees that may occur. Okay, so that is important to know. The price inside our shop is free of taxes, right? And if you're importing the product, if you are in a different country, then you're not paying any US taxes, but you do have to pay the taxes and the import duty on your end. So please make sure that you follow the package, and make sure that you respond to your customs duty, to your customs officers in a very timely manner, so that your package wouldn't get stuck or perhaps even sent back to us, right? Very good. So that's a call out. That's a technical thing, but I think it is important just knowing how many students from outside of the US in general are within the group of people who use the Clarity Eyesight Trainer. And I know that Dr. Ainhoa has many of those students as well. All right, so that's it from me for today.
Thank
and
you.
I'm open to questions.
Thank you so much, Irena. Always learn new things when you come and talk about your perspective on natural vision improvement and the amazing tool that you've developed. I am a fan. I have like 4 boxes in different places for me, for my partner. And may I mention something that I discovered about the efficiency of the case and your balls? I don't have one with me, but maybe you can show us with yours. And actually, if you're going to use just one ball, you can fit it here. I don't know if you did it on purpose, but that's something I discovered.
Yeah, well, we made it big enough just thinking that there is going to be some extensions, right? And I have mentioned that in previous presentations. We are working on line extensions, new capabilities for this particular set. And so even if you, right, so when you have the regular set, there is this little pouch over here, and you can put additional lenses in it. You can put additional different attachments to it as they become available.
And actually, that's one question that has come up not just once, but several times. And that is, do we know when we will have the pinhole glass extension? There's a number of people asking about it. I know you're working on it. Maybe you want to say a few words about it, because honestly, the development of the pinhole glasses that you have done is, as far as I know, the most researched and appropriate and best adapted to our practice. I know you did a series of interviews with a number of vision teachers, among them me, but not just me. And you're really putting all that feedback, plus your own knowledge and experience, of course, into designing an amazing set of pinhole glasses. Can you tell us a bit more about it?
Yes. So, I have burned myself too many times to give people a date, right? Because I am a person who likes to get things done and effectively and efficiently and fast. And so I hope that everything is going to go well, right? And so I'm like, okay, we will have it done by this date. And then for those of you, if you have ever worked in physical product development, Everyone will tell you that you need to plan for 2 years. Well, I don't like planning for 2 years. It feels too long, right? But ultimately, the truth is that, silence my phone better. Yes, so ultimately, yes, we are working on a pinhole lens attachment. I will briefly show you a prototype that is not in the correct color, right? Pinhole glasses are always black. This one is not. This is a 3D printed model, right? But the product that we're working on will have many different benefits. First of all, it will continue allowing you to use your peripheral vision even when you practice with pinhole lenses for clarity. Why is that? Well, ultimately, we don't want to eliminate that part of the view at any times, because as soon as you take the pinhole lenses off, your eyes are suddenly in the environment that they don't know what to do with. There is just too much change, right? So that's one thing. The other thing is most pinhole glasses are great for people with myopia and not so great for people with presbyopia, which is a huge part of population, and people who are farsighted, right? They're not really meant for near accommodation. And the pinhole glasses that we are developing have a little bit different shape of the holes, which ultimately leads to the ability to use them not only for myopic students who are trying to see stuff clearly in the distance, but also for people with presbyopia and other hyperopia and other visual challenges. So that would be kind of roughly, I think, the summary of what I have. We do have prototypes, and with every prototype, we get closer and closer. But I don't have one in my hand that I would say this is it, right? So we still have probably a few iterations to make to ensure that the functionality is exactly the way I would like it to be. Otherwise, I do not wish to bring to the market a product that's already out there and that you guys can get anywhere, right? Mm-hmm. The other benefit is it is going to be, and this is again a prototype, but it does fit into the frame. So it is the attachment to this, and it will be possible for people to just use everything that they already have and simply just get the lens. All right. So that's one thing that we are working on. There is another one that we're actually closer to the finish line with, and that is a nose card holder. So I started developing this one probably 3 years ago when I started the work on the Clarity Trainer. And that is because when I first started with natural vision improvement, right, and first encountered the practices, I ultimately ran into a huge issue with this particular technique when the homemade solution is asking you to use putty and frames from sunglasses and obviously a card and put it all together in a way that's supposed to stay together and help you with your vision development. Well, it never stayed together for me. And so this is a product for me, but I think that it's going to be greatly beneficial for many and many of you. It is an attachment that helps very strongly with eye activation, and again, with binocular vision development, with eye coordination. And the benefit of this particular solution is that not only does it hold the card so that it wouldn't fall, right, and it attaches to the frame, but it can also change positions, right? So if, for example, I have an eye, let's say my left eye is my lazy eye that really doesn't like to do the work in seeing, I can angle my card in a way that ultimately stimulates the eye much stronger than it would if it stayed in this central position, right? And it's done with a click, and it's really, really easy to use. So this one, I would almost say that I'm confident is coming out this year. and I am doing everything possible that the pinhole lenses do as well. But I am scared of giving you guys a date. I just want you to know that it is coming.
Okay, so it's coming. You don't know yet exactly, but I understand that people who purchase the clarity trainers would have advantages when these new developments appear, right?
Yes,
The early
absolutely.
adopters. So maybe you want to say something about this?
Yes, absolutely. So those who will already be the owners of the clarity system, not only will they have access to it sooner, right? Because we will be able to gather interest and we will be able to produce enough product for those who already have the system. Additionally, there is going to be a financial benefit for those who already have the clarity system so that you could easily enhance the functionality of what you already have. So that is absolutely coming, and it will be announced as soon as these tools are ready to go to market.
Okay. I have a question actually coming through one of the WhatsApp groups of participants of the ClearSight method, and it comes from a very dear friend from Germany, Gundel Jan. And she's asking, for how long should each eye be covered while doing the training? What is your recommendation? Should they be covered for about 15 minutes or some hours? What's your take on this?
Okay, so there are two ways to use the mono shields, right? And as always in natural vision improvement, it depends is the answer. But these are the general rules. If you want to ultimately cover one eye and let the other eye work, I think that you can do it for an extended period of time, as long as that eye that is not being covered, the one that is being trained, doesn't strain, right? So I would say make sure that that eye is actually engaged and that that eye is capable of doing the work for doing all the seeing, right? And taking over the responsibility of the eye that is being covered. I would probably start the practice with pretty short time periods. You can start 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then you will know. But as soon as you start feeling any sort of fatigue, any sort of strain, I would stop it because it is never beneficial to push through any sort of discomfort when you are working on your vision. Right? Now, if you're using the mono shields for other practices, let's say for tromboning, just because that one is really easy, then, you say, well, I usually practice tromboning for 10 minutes with both of my eyes together. And so what you can do is to give 5 minutes to one eye, 5 minutes to another eye, and then perhaps at the end, bring them together for a few minutes so that they can work together. So it really depends. You ultimately are using these shields to enhance the practice that you're already doing. They're not necessarily replacing anything. They're just making it more focused, more efficient, more direct with what it is that you're trying to achieve.
Absolutely. There's also somebody asking, Val is asking about the use of the single eye obstruction for cataract in one eye. And I told her already that it would be useful, but let's hear your take on it.
Oh, absolutely. So yes, right. Even when you're dealing with cataracts, you're probably doing lots of sunning, right? That's like one of the things that we always recommend when cataracts start to appear. And using monoshields with sunning it's easier for the system, right? You have the light coming into one eye, but the other eye is resting. And so when you are doing that, you're not overwhelming your visual system with all that light that is out there. And right, like when you start doing sunning, it can be pretty intense. and cataracts as well. So it is absolutely great to use the monoshield with your cataract, because that way the eye that has the cataract is the one that is getting all the sun. It's the one that's getting all the stimuli, and it doesn't get distracted by whatever the other eye is thinking or wanting to do or interpret, or there's no true conversation at that point between the covered eye and the brain. And so the eye with the cataract can just kind of do its work more comfortably. And it really does eliminate a lot of strain and lots of, I would say, overwhelm. If you are in any way light sensitive, it is much easier to practice each eye separate.
Yep, absolutely. I would agree 100% with everything you said. Let's see. There's also Elisa who is asking, would this be helpful for glaucoma, where there has already been vision deterioration and a trabeculectomy has been performed? I know what it is, but I'm more used to saying the word in Spanish. Anyway, so for glaucoma in general, and in particular, when there's already been some deterioration of the optic nerve, and a trabeculectomy. Yeah.
Right. Well, glaucoma is obviously a challenge, right? But even with glaucoma, doing working on the engagement of your full eye, of the not only cones, but also the visual rods is really important. So working on your peripheral vision with all of those different shields can absolutely bring results and relief of some of the symptoms.
Yes. And of course, the earlier you start using them, the better. I mean, when there's deterioration, there's more inertia of the tissues and systems to get back into proper shape. So, and Sandra actually had the same question. Is this helpful for glaucoma? Yeah, absolutely. Stimulating peripheral vision is very important. It's the first part that tends to get lost in glaucoma. So having awareness is very useful. And also when you're stimulating the periphery, that also relaxes the eyes a lot more. And that is helpful in return for the glaucoma and for eyesight in general.
I would agree.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I would agree. And even doing some of the long swings and practices like that with the shields, right? As you kind of move, it really does stimulate that whole area. So that too helps.
Yeah. I'm not seeing other questions this time around. There. Maria Katarina is asking, what if a person is legally blind but has some sight left? Asking for a friend.
Well, that one is tough, right? But when a person is legally blind, what usually is beneficial is start stimulating the eyes individually, right? And you can do that not necessarily in an active way, like you would when you're working on your periphery, but you can do it in what I call more of a passive practice. You can use flashlight, you can use other elements that really stimulate the eye. But again, in this particular situation, I would always do it one eye at a time, because that way you can focus, you can bring the light closer, further away, and that eye that is being taken care of has the ability to really work with the brain and start working with the signals, and I'm talking about the eyes as if they were a person, right? But there is a connection, there is a relationship between the physical eyeball and all that it encounters and all the nerves and the system in the brain, the visual cortex, right? And so they have to find a way to communicate. And if a person is legally blind and we're just trying to activate any of the visual receptors and any interpretation whatsoever of what's going on the outside by the brain, then using these monoshields is very, very beneficial.
Absolutely. And I was going to say the same thing with someone who's legally blind. The first kind of practices you would want to do are usually contrasts of light and darkness. So because of using the monoshield, well, you're already putting a context of darkness for what you're not stimulating. And with the other eye, you can use the light in different ways. And then you can change, of course, you'll want to stimulate the
other. And I think that
one.
particular practice is actually described in the Clarity program as well.
Great. Okay, wonderful. So I'm very happy every time you come. This is not the first time I've invited you to give a talk to my community. And every time you highlight different aspects of it. So we keep learning with your presentations. That's so nice. But I guess that as time goes, there's collectively less questions because there's plenty of things that you've already clarified in the past. So I'm not seeing any more questions come in. What I would like to add is that there's hundreds and hundreds, maybe 500 people in our community that have purchased already Irena Castle's clarity trainers, and all the feedback that I get from people who have them is really enthusiastic. People are super happy. They make the practice a lot easier, more fun. You can focus on the important stuff and you don't have to spend time making the tools, and you have the certainty that they're very well adapted. So that's why I keep inviting you over and over, because students are super happy. So I want the new students to have the opportunity, and people who have gone through the course already, and if they didn't catch the previous waves, well, to have the opportunity also to get them. Again, I myself have like 4 boxes for me, my partner, etc., in different locations, and I really love them.
Very good. Well, so let me answer one question that someone always has, right, before we close, and that is this for my condition, right? Because whether you have cataracts or glaucoma, or you're a hypermetropic, or you have presbyopia, myopia, lazy eye, strabismus, what have you, during Dr. Ainhoa's course, you learn how to address these issues, right? You learn the techniques and the habits that you need to incorporate in order to mitigate the condition, right? What the Clarity Eyesight Trainer does is that it provides the environment that makes it easier for this practice to happen. So that is why I am able to say, yes, it helps with your condition, because it will make your practice, the one that you would be doing anyway, it's making it easier, it's making it more effective, and therefore it makes you more likely to actually do the practices. And if you do the practices, then you see the results, right?
Absolutely. So the clarity trainers are helpful in for all the symptoms and in all the areas of development that natural vision improvement is helpful for. And basically that's any time that you have at least one eyeball that is still connected with the brain through the optic nerve, then it's helpful. And I would say that's the case for, if not all of us, certainly the great, great, great majority of people on the planet, not just in the community. So absolutely. I heard someone asking if you still have the pink clarity trainers, or maybe you already sold all of them. You had
I think we have a few of them left. I haven't looked recently, but they did not disappear from the store. So there are a few of them left, but they are not part of the bundle.
Okay.
So if somebody does want the pink ones, they are absolutely there. If you're a huge pink fan, go for it.
Okay. They're just not part of the special offer.
We did not create a special offer, special bundle for them, because we really only have a few left.
Yes. And anyway, so if you want to get them, the link is very easy. It's bit.ly/clarity-Ainhoa, Ainhoa, because that's where you would get the Brock cord for free with the bundle, and the 6-month access to Irena's program to learn how to best use the clarity trainers, along with whatever other course you're taking, in this case, the ClearSight method course, the advantage for the early adopters, and of course, well, the Brock cord, we said that already. And can you show us quickly how to do it? Because sometimes people are very happy and they even have the link, but then when it's the time to do it, they don't really know how to click or where to click or how it goes.
Let me reactivate the mouse and get out of.
Maybe I can do it myself. Let me.
Or if you want to do it yourself, I'll just walk you through it. Why don't we do that?
So
it is important what you said. You have to go through this link.
Yes.
Okay, you have to go through bit.ly/clarity Ainhoa or another link that would be posted under the video if you're watching it later. Otherwise, you will be, you will not get to the offer that you're looking for, right? You would just go to a regular store. So go to the link. I will stop sharing so that I think that way you can share.
Okay. So you would get to this page, right?
Yes. So you go to Overbound, right? So you go to bit.ly/clarity-Ainhoa, and it takes you to this specific store of special offers. And then all you have to do is to decide, do you want the trainer and get the gift, or do you want the trainer and the balls and get the gift? Right?
Okay, so let's say that we get the trainer and the balls and the gift.
All right. So you click on
there.
that, and then you just look at all the pictures and decide that you're happy with it. And you scroll down a little bit and put it in your cart, right?
Yes.
Right there. Add to cart. You know that you only want one, or you want 3 for all of your friends, and then you put it in your cart.
Okay, yeah, you could get.
And then the cart is on top of the page, so you just see now. Dr. Ainhoa is buying 6 of them.
I wanted to buy.
She wants to.
I wanted to buy 3.
She wants to gift a lot of people, right? And but you just saw how you can adjust the amount. So if by accident you click on it multiple times, right? Once you get to the cart, there is a plus and minus button. And then you can adjust the quantity, and it automatically also adjusts in that tiny little black card that's on top of the page, right? So you check that you make sure that you have the right amount, and therefore the price is right? And then you go to the checkout.
Okay, clicking on checkout now.
Okay, and then all you have to do is to fill out your email and put your address in. There is a set of acknowledgments there. They are mostly important for people who are exporting the goods from the US and taking them overseas or to another country. It ultimately talks about the fact that you have to be responsible for the customs duties and any of these little call-outs, right? For those in the US, you can just click on them. You have to click on them, but they are not really for you all that much. And then you put your payment and discount. Well, we don't have a discount. You get the offer the way it is. You don't need another code, right? There is no code. You just go through the link directly to the store, and the gift that you're getting is part of the bundle, part of that one item that you are purchasing. And then you just check out and go.
Yep. I'm not clicking through everything because I'm not putting my card information.
Yeah, but it's pretty standard. I think the important thing is upfront. Once you get to the shop, you click on the item that you want to purchase, and then you do click on that shopping cart that's next to the button that says Academy. You click on that shopping cart, and that takes you to the checkout.
Yes, and actually, this button of the Academy, that's where you would use the card number, right?
That would be later for getting into the program. Yes.
Okay, great. So I think it's pretty straightforward, very standard. Looks like any other checkouts. It's just make sure that you're using the link that we provided. Actually, it's visible here, bit.ly/clarity-Ainhoa. It's already in the YouTube video description and on the page where we're streaming this. So it should be very easy on the emails that we're going to be sending tomorrow with the replay. So it should be very easy to find the link so that you make sure that if you're purchasing the Clarity trainers, that you get the gift of the Brock cord, the 6 months of access into Irena's training program, and the advantage of being an early adopter for future developments. Did I summarize correctly?
That is excellent. Thank you.
Okay, Erika is saying here, thank you for the presentation and the clear answers. And so Maria Catarina is asking for the link in the comments. So give me a second and I will type it in there. So it's very easy. Okay, so here's one link, and I'm going to also type the bit.ly one. So it's available like right now. And this offer is available until this Sunday, June the 4th of 2023. Midnight LA time or
midnight everywhere.
at midnight everywhere. Okay, okay, very good. So voila. Any more things that you'd like to say? Let me check if there's a last minute question. I'm not seeing any more questions. So thank you very much, Irena. It was amazing once more.
Very good. I hope the information was useful. I hope learning about selective vision obstruction and how it helps within the bigger context of natural vision improvement is going to make your practice better. And, if you did like the Clarity Eyesight Trainer, of course, jump on board now when the gift is available. It is a pretty cool Brock string. Just the fact that the beads are not sliding all over the place when you use it is a pretty nice little perk. So thank you for having me. I wish your class and everybody who is watching that they have success with their natural vision improvement and that they do achieve the vision of their dreams, the goal that they are after, and that it happens for them sooner rather than later.
Absolutely.
So thank you.
Absolutely. And if you're watching on YouTube, or if you're not, maybe you want to subscribe to our channel, youtube.com/clearsightmethod. You can also follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/clearsightmethod. Share with your family and friends what you're discovering so that not just you, but everyone around you can see better and better and enjoy this wonderful world of vision. And so today, this was Irena Castle and Ainhoa de Federico, and enjoy the beauty of life. See you later and see you better. Bye-bye.
Bye.